And we're back. We are doing some awesome Laravel code-based refactoring. Before the break, we did, I did a bit of refactoring with the module model and also pushed some synchronous successive requests into Queued Jobs, which is pretty fun. And I'm going to carry on with that. Now, yesterday I started connecting to the service called Pusher because what I wanted to do was have each queue job give me some status updates so that I could watch the things that were going on in the background. So for fetches, this was the thing. I mean, I'm going to comment this stuff out because it was a stopgap that I ended up doing. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to fire events and have these events give kind of status updates. And so I created, using Artisan, I created this first thing, fetch module event, and gave it a type. I kind of want to change this actually just to status or progress. Status, I think, yeah. Status is what I want here. Because I found out I didn't actually need the data. So it was kind of silly to add. But I just want to have a status. I want to say, okay, I'm fetching a module and this is a progress event. This is an update. This is what I'm actually doing at the time, which is cool. That's fine. So broadcast on, I'm just going to go back to the docs and check because I didn't actually set this up correctly. I ended up having to use the SDK directly, which isn't the best. It's got to be said. What I want to do is I want to be able to use the Laravel stuff. So this says download the SDK for Pusher, or if you're using Redis, do that. But I want to use Pusher. Fine. And then that it should implement this should broadcast interface, which it is doing. It is implementing that. And broadcast on is the channel it's got to broadcast on. So I put that as helpful robot. I also created a view to be able to debug this stuff. So if I go to resources, views, test pusher.blade.php, and if I start a server for this and go to that in the browser, test pusher, testing pusher. Okay. Now, this isn't going to work initially because what I did was I created the application in Pusher and then I immediately deleted it because I didn't want the key to be broadcast to the whole wide world. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a new app for it again. I'll set up a new app for it again because, or I'll just use the temporary app that's there. I'll use that. But I'll do that off screen because I want to kind of keep this key a bit secret, which is fine. And I'll move this off here because I want to edit the .env file again. Fine. So I'm just writing out an environment variable for the pusher key, which is fine. I need to subscribe to this channel, which is also fine. So I've named it helpful robot here. I'm not sure what the naming scheme is supposed to be here. I remember reading that there was supposed to be some kind of consistent naming scheme. Naming conventions, there we go. Okay. May contain 164 characters, channel prefixes, private and presence. This isn't private, this is just a public channel. So I don't really need to do any of those things. JavaScript quick start. And this is where I got all this template code from, by the way. You'll see over here, I've got a JavaScript up here, connecting to Pusher with the key, subscribing to a channel, and listening to an event on that channel. So there I've got that. I've added the key, as suggested, subscribing to the specific channel, and I want to get this fetch event. Now, by default, if you specify a should broadcast event, and you don't say what it should broadcast as, it's going to use the fully qualified name of the class. And I don't know if that's actually what I want to do. Maybe it is. Maybe it is what I want to do. So for now, I'm going to just remove this and app events fetch module event. what I'll do is I will bind to this, oh, too many brackets, app event fetch module event class. Do I need to do that? That's interesting. I wonder if that'll work. Let me refresh and see. Illegal token, because this is a string. Fine. Okay, will that work? Could not find key something or other. That's totally the wrong key though. That's interesting. Did I just not save this value? I totally did. Why is it trying to use that key? Let's see, getting started. I'll just use their getting started instructions because that'll have. Okay, so that's the key I should use. It's also said use this extra encrypted thing here, so I will do that as well. Let's see. Do I still have env open? I gotta remember not to try and show that stuff on live stream. Anyway, use encrypted true. I don't think this will make the world of difference, but I'll do it anyway. Also, I'll change this back to fetch because that was simpler. There we go. If I just call it fetch here and I just listen for the fetch here, then it should be simpler. Okay. Refresh. Could not find app by key. That's totally the wrong key. That's totally the wrong key. It's not the one I'm specifying. I have no idea where it's getting that value from. None at all. Is it trying to... No, it's not doing anything there. Let me go to env another time. Pusher key. Oh. I wonder, are those loaded once per session? They totally are. They totally are loaded once per session. That's interesting. Okay. Connection to failed WebSocket is closed before connection is established. That's also very interesting. Maybe I should remove this get encrypted thing. I mean, it showed the key in the console anyway, so I'm just going to end up deleting this app again as well. Okay, no error now because I'm not using encrypted, because I'm not trying to connect from an HTTP to an HTTP to a WSS. I'm not trying to connect to an encrypted socket, so it's not giving me this error anymore. Can I fetch then? Will that start to register things in the queue if I call fetch? I need to run the queue as well. Is this loading things? So these were getting modules. Okay, that's very interesting. Because there's only one queue, it's doing all the items in the order that they're added to a queue. So it's doing these sequentially, but it doesn't have to. Oh, fetch module event type. Okay, fine. So I've got a bit of an error here. Fetch module job. Let's see. Fetch module event starting. Fetch module event status, status, status. I forgot to change this. Okay, queue listen. So those previous things processed correctly because they were still using the old class structure. Now these will these are broadcasting events. Doesn't say so. There's the WebSocket. Frames. So it's not receiving this event, and I'm not really sure why. I'm not really sure why, but I want to get to the bottom of it. So there we go. Let's figure it out. Okay, broadcast as. That's the event type. If I go back and I have a look at this code that I've commented out, I trigger on this channel this event name with some data, and this is working. I can run this and it's working. Okay. But this doesn't. And I wonder why that is. It says it's broadcasting, runs all this stuff, and there's broadcasting a lot of events. Okay, there's broadcasting some more events, and I'm not getting anything on the side, which is a little disappointing. If I go to dashboard, let's see, your apps, this demo app that I've got going, it says, I'll just bring this over here because there's no point in me hiding the key anymore. Messages sent today 0. That's a problem. So this is not connecting properly, it would appear. Is that because I have to set up some... That makes sense. Where am I setting the key for this? Let me go to config, broadcasting. Pusher is the default. I need to set the keys for this thing. Okay. Okay. These are all going to be public anyway, so I may as well just put them... Whoa! That's disappointing. I'm going to have to change that token as well. Sigh. Let me do that changing GitHub token now. Aww, I just doxed myself. Not really. I wouldn't really call that doxing. I just have to re-secure myself. Sorry for the delay, but yeah, I need to make this a bit more secure. Okay, that's the username. This is the password. So, how is it where you are? Let me know how you're doing in chat. What do I need this for? This is basically an everything token, right? I just need to make a new token because I unfortunately revealed mine on stream. That's not good. There we go. Okay, let me just delete the previous one before anyone gets any ideas. Okay, fine. So sorry if you were looking forward to using that personal access token, but it's not going to work now. Okay. App ID. I need to get the, let's see, what settings do I need here? Broadcasting, I need push a key, push a secret, push a app ID. Push a key, push a secret. and pusher app ID. This is why it wasn't working yesterday using the Laravel events, because it wasn't actually connecting. So that's the key. The secret is this for this test application, and the ID is this for this test application. Okay, fine. Let's close that. Let's come back here. No wonder this wasn't working yesterday. Okay, let's try again. Let's try again. Stop this nonsense. Start again. It's going to handle a few modules. Going to broadcast some events. Yeah, whatever. That's fine. It's useless to you now. And this is updating, no doubt, with the WebSockets that Pusher provides itself. So if we look here, yay, we get all sorts of statuses. Why is this important? Why is it important that we can fetch these things from Pusher or have these things pushed to us? I want to be able to run the stuff in the background, to kick the process off with a single command and have it just process a whole lot of jobs. And I want to be able to get statuses of this through an interface, which is cool because now I can power this kind of thing through React or whatever and have a very rich interface to show what's going on in the background of this automation tool. I can see which URLs are being fetched from Packagist, which modules are currently being stored, inspected, forked, cloned. That's really great. So I'm going to put some more of these events around the place. Let's see, fetch, start. I'll just change these up a little bit. Create user. I'll hyphenate them because why not? Create module. Save and done. So this is now going to do quite a lot of work, right? I actually need to restart Beanstalk because I want to stop all the processes it's doing in the background. And I want to run this again. It's created 2 queued jobs, which means when I do this, it's going to start kicking off a process of fetching, adding modules, broadcasting their events. So now I should start getting, when it starts broadcasting events at some point, start broadcasting events. It's backed up a little bit of work because it made quite a few requests to Packagist before it started processing modules. And I guess this is the problem of having like one queue listener. But here we see start, save, done, start, save, done. It's already fetched the first few modules, so it doesn't need to create a new module record. It doesn't need to create a new user record because it's already done that stuff, which is pretty cool. I have no identifiers on these though, unfortunately, which is a bit interesting. Maybe I need to go to this event and add, let's see, events, and add some kind of reference to the module that it's doing. So status module. Let's initialize that and import this module and update the docs. Give me the option. Why won't it give me the option? Because I've got that there. Lame. Okay, so it's storing the status, and now I need to use that special trait for serializes modules. So serializes, sorry, not modules, models. Serializes models. This is because naturally these can't be serialized, but if you add that trait, it will break the Eloquent instance down into a form that can serialize and then hydrate it when it comes back on. So broadcast with status, module this module to array. I'll need to make sure later that the details of this are that I don't want to transmit are obscured, but that's fine. Transmit is fetch. So now when I refresh this, I already did that, but I'll restart it again. Run this and start the queue off again. It's going to start fetching modules again. Yes, I forgot to give it an instance when it does this. I actually need to pass the module in here. This module. Let me put this underneath here so I can use the alias on all of these. Okay, I need to add these to all the events so that the events can track what module it's talking about. Let's see, have I got it everywhere? Done, save, create module, create user, module. Oh, that's right. This job isn't created with an instance of the module. It's created with an array of the module. That's interesting. Maybe I need to go to... Maybe I just need to say module name. That can be the unique identifier for this module. Okay, fine. Let's do that instead. And then this can just be a string, and then I can remove the trait, and it can do a lot less work. That sounds good. That sounds good. Okay, let's go back to this event here. Module, this module, I'll just save it as a string instead of an instance of that. Fine, so we can remove this trait. That simplifies this code a little bit. Now, let's restart that. Restart Beanstalk, get some new tasks, and start the queue listener. Okay, so it's processing a few modules, getting them into the database, if they're not already there. And it's queued the broadcast messages, but because there's only one worker, it's only going to, run all these tasks in sequence. So it's doing a lot of those jobs to get the modules into the database. I'm waiting for some broadcasting. There we go, broadcasting. And there we have the name of the module. So it's the fetch event, started doing that, done doing that. This is pretty cool. It's issuing them in sequence because it's running the tasks in sequence. But if I have 4 or 5 workers going and they're all picking up different jobs, different modules at the same time, they're all going to transmit the statuses at the same time. And I'll be able to use this to update the state of some React app or some Angular app and render a very rich interface in the browser that gives me some idea of what's going on in the background without me having to keep the CLI task open in the background, which is a lot of fun. I actually think that's kind of really what I want to work on now, taking a departure away from the PHP side of things. But I'm going to keep on working on this thing in the coming days and the coming weeks. So don't get disappointed if I do a bit of JavaScript now and then, even though this is predominantly a PHP stream. And you've probably heard about this via some PHP developers. What I'm going to do now, though, is take another little break. So listen to some music, and I'll see you again in 2 minutes. Stick around, please.